Can you see me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you. Yeah, see you now. Thanks, Ntsiki.
Excellent. Thank you.
Right, yeah, I think you can proceed and please introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself, where you come from. I know you have a lot of experience in the banking sector, but yeah, we can all hear from you.
Great. Thank you so much. Oh, it is wonderful to be here.
Yes.
Lovely to see people from across the country, people from KZN, people from Limpopo. Welcome, everybody. So my name is Nontsiki. Full name is Nontsikelelo. Elephant is my surname. I grew up in Mount Frey, finished off my high school years in Cape Town, and then got married and then moved to Joburg. So I've been around the side for the past, I would say 9 years or so.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, work-wise, I studied at UCT. I did my undergrad there. So I did a Bachelor in Commerce in Economics and Finance. And then when I was done with that, then I moved to UJ. I did investment management honors, and I did master's in economic development, and I'm doing PhD now in economic development.
All right.
And then from a work front, I did a lot of things. So I started off in IT. So after I graduated from finance, I couldn't get a job in finance. I was in Cape Town then. And the best job I could get was an IT job. And in this IT job, I used to work shifts. And so what we were doing was application support. So we're monitoring applications for the bank. We were contracted by APSA at the time. And it was an excellent opportunity for me. It was a lot of work. Literally, I used to work 12-hour shifts and things like that. I mean, the last thing you want as a graduate is to be doing shifts.
Definitely,
but that's where we all start, right?
Yeah,
and you won't believe this. I was literally earning $5,000 a month. And I was like, whew, I thought after graduating, I'm going to be bowling in money.
Yeah.
But hey, it didn't happen. Fast forward 12 years later, after that, I moved into market risk. There, I was an analyst. From there, I moved into regulatory reporting, credit risk. I've done interest rate in the banking book, analytics team. And fast forward, I'm at Standard Bank now as a business manager for investment services operations division in the CIB.
All right, that's really great to see and hear, Nontsikelelo. This is also a motivation to someone because of you might study something, not get a job there, but get a job somewhere. But that doesn't stop you from keeping pushing and already taking that opportunity and grabbing it with both hands. So thank you so much for being our host today.
I'm so excited to be here. I love young people. I work with young people, and I'm always so energized when I find myself in the company of the young. I always say I'm young at heart. So,
yeah.
So we're all young today. So I'm excited. Thanks for that.
All right. Yeah, I think you can then proceed with sharing your presentation. But yeah, guys, if anyone else has a question, please feel free to raise your hand so that we know, like, it doesn't cause a little bit of disruption when you unmute and speak, but it's best if you raise your hand and then we will admit you. But yeah, and I just hope that we become more engaging because of it is an engaging session where you ask questions, you speak, we're gonna have group discussions. So yeah, please feel free to be engaging, and also if you have a question, you're most welcome to write it in the chat box or use the reaction or raise your hand. All right. So over to you, Ntsiki. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you, Dineo. That was really exciting. Please do check the time for me. So because I'm sharing the screen, I'm not able to monitor the time on my side.
All right, no problem.
So again, I'm really excited. Thank you to the Youth at Work leadership for inviting me to be part of this. It's always amazing to inspire other people and to reflect back on my own story and in my own journey as a young person. So I'm really excited for today. And the topic that I chose to speak about, I know we had a back and forth with Dineo about this. We're like, tell me your topic. I'm just like, oh, I'm still thinking about it. Give me some time, okay?
Yes, I remember.
So eventually what was really in my heart was to speak to you about the seed of greatness. with the hope that at the end of this session, really, we would have engaged and understood some of the techniques we can use to identify our own potential and be inspired to continue to pursue the great things that we are created and destined to do. So I just want to, I think we've done the introduction bit, just to take you through how the hour will spend it. So I'm just going to take 15 minutes to just give you context and define some of the terms I'll be speaking to, and just the gist of what the talk or the session is all about. And then after that, we'll take about 10 minutes. We had hoped that we'll do breakout rooms, but we see we've got a whole lot of people on the line. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll just have it centrally. I'll just open the time up for us to engage a little bit more. So this is where I would like you to share on chat. Will be monitoring that for me. And if there are any hands, we'll take those hands and people can ask their questions and just engage. And then after that, we'll take the last 20 minutes or so to just look at the feedback and the reflections that we've had, and then we conclude. I hope everyone is happy with that. Without any waste of time, we'll dive straight into it. So like I said, the theme for today is the seed of greatness. So I'm going to be sharing. Dineo, can you see my screen?
Yes, but I'm not seeing anything on the slide, but I do see your
presentation. Yes, that is perfect. So I want us to take step by step. Show me if you can see a picture on the screen, and somebody write on the chat, who are you seeing and what are they known for? Any answers? Can people recognize the faces on the screen or the face on the screen?
I see some comments saying Serena Williams.
Great. What is she known for?
She plays tennis. That's what they say. Chandra. Yes.
She's a tennis player. And who's next?
Michael Jackson.
Exactly. Thank you, Lee. Next.
Mother Teresa.
Yes. Next, I'm sure a lot of people will know this one. She's been on memes all over social media. Yes,
Albert Einstein.
Yeah. Who's next? Oh, the single ladies. Come on now. Yeah. Who's next?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes. Who's dishing all the answers, guys? Hey. There's somebody who knows all of them. Yeah.
Wait,
everybody gets a cup. You get a cup.
Oprah.
Who was the last one?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. So I just thought we'll break an ice there just to look at some of the people that we deem are great. So you realize that all the different individuals that are on the screen right now have done great things. That is why we know them. Some of them we've never met them. Some of them are not even South Africans. But, sorry, I think I clicked on something and my pen just went off. Okay. Some of them we know on the basis of what they achieved and the great things that they've done. And I thought, I would just give a background on why this topic is so close to my heart, and hopefully you can learn something out of it. So we're always surrounded by the so-called great people. And you look at this list, it's just a few of them, but most of us know these names and we can relate to these names because these are people that we deem were great and they did wonderful things. And their talents, their excellence, they're distinguished individuals in their different spaces. So Serena is a renowned tennis player, and some in music, Michael Jackson, politics, science, etc. And we don't usually see ourselves in them. Why? Because they are up here and we are down there, right? That is our thinking. Our thinking is that they are heroes and we are just ordinary people on the ground, right? And that's how we see ourselves. We always think there was something special about them that made them get to where they are. They were better than us. They were more talented than us. They were more gifted than us. And it's easier for us to believe that they were created to be great. But somehow we find it very difficult to believe that we ourselves were created to be great. How many of us can relate to that statement? That it's great for us to celebrate other people and say, oh, you know what, they were born for this thing, this is their thing. And yet we cease to understand that we ourselves were born to be great. And I want to present to you today and say, we all have a seed of greatness in us. Each and every one of us, including myself, including Dineo, including the youth at work leadership, including the guys on the line, everybody, every human being that was created was presented or was invested with a seed of greatness in them. Now, I know a lot of people know what a seed is, but I just thought, you know what, so that we are aligned and we are on the same page, I'll just unpack it a little bit so we can get a gist of what I'm talking about. So we see these great people and we think to ourselves, oh, they were born to be great. Oh, sometimes we even wish we were them. We even wish, I wish I was born in a different family. I wish I was born, in a different country. Maybe, I would be something big. Maybe I would be great as well. But we fail to realize that they were not born great, but there was a seed in them, just like in everybody else. That seed has a potential of making them great, and the same seed that we have that can make us great. Now, usually a seed, I think everybody knows what a seed is because I believe we're all adults on the line. Do we have any toddlers here? I don't think so. So a seed is found in every fruit, essentially, everything that was created. In order for it to recreate itself, a seed was put in. So you've got seeds in fruits and veggies, in animals, in human beings, right? And essentially, this is the potential that enables us to do something that is greater than ourselves. When you look at a seed, so think of an apple as an example. A lot of us, we just eat the apple and then we leave that seed pouch and we just throw it away, literally, just sits in the bin. Nobody cares. Some trample over it, life goes on, right? You grab another apple, you eat. But have you ever asked yourself the potential that is sitting in that little black thing? You take that little black thing and you put it in the soil and you water it and you take care of it. Before you know it, you've got multiple apples. You've got almost a tree that could give you apples that you can distribute to a store like Pick n Pay, Checkers, etc. And what we don't realize is the potential that little thing, that worthless thing that we usually just throw around and we can ignore it. It's usually very small in such a way that you feel like it won't make any difference because it's just so small. It's just a little thing that is just inferior. And we often cannot tell what could become of it. Only someone who is like a apple farmer knows that if you eat an apple, please give me that seed because then I'm going to use it and I'm going to create more apples out of it. Are we together so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Who
yes,
said
we
yes? Sumbulele, thank you. Love you.
Yes, we together.
Awesome. So what I've realized is that a lot of us, because a seed is tiny, because it's a little thing inside of us, to some of us, it's just the desire to want to become something. But because that desire is so small and so tiny and often looks inferior and often looks worthless, like I made an example of the apple seed, we don't nurture it. We don't take care of it, and therefore we cannot see what it can become. It remains just a little thing in us that wants to be something, but that never really realized what that is. So seed in this talk, in the context of this presentation and our discussion today, represents the potential that we have. It represents the possibility. It represents life. It represents what can be in the future. And remember, I said, we all are born with this. It's not something you've got to create. It's not something you've got to read books to understand. It's there. It's in you. You've got the seed to become great and do great things. Now, a lot of people that we grow up around don't realize. Do you really think, okay, guys, let's think about this. Do you think, between me and you, do you think that when, let's take an example, former president of the United States, President Barack Obama. Do you really think when he was growing up, not even when he was growing up, when he was a baby, right? So his mom gave birth to him and he came home. Do you think his mom looked at him and be like, president, you're going to be a president? Do you think when he was changing his diapers, he was thinking that she thought she was changing diapers of a president? Chances are nobody knew, including himself. But the seed was there. It's similar with all the other people that we were looking at when we started. Nobody knows what can become of that seed, but it takes us to nurture the seed, take care of that seed, and see what it can become. I don't think even in the area he grew up in, people knew what would become of him, but the seed was there. And that's the power of the seed of greatness, because it's something that people often cannot see. It's something that people often overlook. It's something that people often don't realize what it has. It looks tiny. It looks like a little thing. But the greatness that is locked in it, the potential that is locked in it is massive. Now, here's the thing about a seed, guys. A seed must be planted. I love muesli. I don't know if any of you guys are a fan. I love muesli, so I love it with yogurt, fruits, etc. And one of the things that are included in the muesli, depending on which one you buy or which one you love, raisins, pumpkin seeds, peanuts. It depends on which brand, not brand per se, but which one you've bought. Can I tell you something? That muesli is made up of seeds. But what makes a difference between a seed that I'm going to eat in a muesli and a seed that is in the ground that can potentially produce another tree, a whole tree, guys, with different fruits that contain their own seeds? What makes a difference is that the seed that is put in my muesli, or like my husband loves pumpkin seeds, the seeds that he eats, they will never see their potential, because the potential in that seed is laying dormant. And until we take that seed and we put it in the ground, nothing will become of it. It will be like there's no potential in that seed. It seems totally different from the seed that is in fact planted and it produces fruit. So I just wrote here, we must always remember that a seed remains just a mere seed, a little thing, an inferior thing that looks like it's got nothing, unless we invest it in the ground, unless we keep it alive, putting it in an environment that will be conducive for it to produce fruit. Otherwise, it remains dormant. It remains with potential, but the potential that will never be realized. And you must understand, you don't just put the seed and walk away, right? You must keep the seed in that environment that is conducive for it to thrive. So it's similarly with us. When I talk about the seed of greatness, there's certain environments that are not good for what we have inside of us. There's certain environments that are not good for this fire and this desire and this pursuit of being great. There's certain people that are not right for us, because if we stay with those people, over time, our seed will lay dormant. Or over time, we will start believing that that seed is not there, when in fact, it is there. There's a reason each one of us desire to be something. We desire to do something. We desire to change the world. We desire to do great things. But depending on where we plant that seed, if we plant it in a soil that is good for it, it has potential to be, the different people that we saw initially. They also decided to plant their seeds in the right place. They decided to have the right people around them. They decided to nurture this gift, talent, or whatever the seed may look like to you. We'll come to that in a moment. They decided to nurture that. And guess what? It produced fruit. So they're not like some kind of special people that, were ordained to do great things, because we all have that. We all have that seed. And one thing you must understand about seeds is that they are different in shape, they are different in make, there are different conditions that are good for different seeds. So for a different seed. So if you take an example, an apple seed and an avocado, my favorite fruit, an avocado seed. Sorry for those who don't like avocados, but if you look at those two seeds are significantly different for the purposes of how they are designed. So a seed of an apple, you can't say because the seed of an apple is small and black, therefore it's not a seed enough, And this is what we do. We measure our potentials against each other. we measure our seeds of greatness against each other. And I'm hoping that after this talk, you will realize that each one of us have a unique seed that is designed and created for the purposes of what we ought to become. Everybody with me?
Yes,
Janelle, are
ma'am.
you still there? Awesome.
We are here.
Yes, we are here.
Yes, ma'am.
Love it, love it. Now, why am I not talking about a seed of riches, guys? You know, money, money, money. Why am I not talking about a seed of wealth? Because I know a lot of people, you know, that's the kind of stuff they want. But I want us to shift our focus to talk about the seed of greatness in the form of wholeness. I'm very passionate about people not just pursuing money and material things, but pursuing their best versions of themselves, pursuing a life of wholeness, joy, fulfillment. So when I talk about a seed of greatness, I'm not necessarily saying be like Elon Musk and say, I've got a seed of being a billionaire and just run with it. No, what I'm talking about is a seed that enables you to be yourself fully in this world and to realize your potential fully. So I chose the word greatness, not necessarily that we should all be famous, though that is possible. I mean, like I said, we all have potential. We all have the seed to be that. But a seed in terms of the potential to its fullness and the best version of yourself, you know, being distinct in what you do, being excellent in what you do, what sets you apart from everybody else. And we all have a seed to do that and to be that. So essentially, the greatness I'm referring to is the full realization of your purpose. So precisely doing what you were created to do and being that which you were created to do. So that's the seed I'm talking about. When I say a seed of greatness, that's the greatness I'm referring to. So this is not just about being successful or famous or being known or being rich or being wealthy, though that is good. I mean, who can say no to some little dollars, you know, and euros and pounds? But it's all about living this life that is whole, living this life that is fulfilling, that is purposeful, that will then leave a legacy, because that's what it's about. So greatness is not just about living for the now and having the great things for the now and, you know, flourishing on the gram in the now, but it's also about doing things and being great at them to leave a legacy. I'll make an example. So one of the great people that I love or that I loved was my grandmother. Unfortunately, I couldn't put her in the great people list in the beginning because you may not know her. And I wanted us to have a connection, and I wanted us to have an icebreaker of some sort. So you wouldn't have known her, but she lived her full potential because the legacy that she left me with, which is the legacy of love. So my grandmother was a nurse by profession, and she loved being a nurse. She was, you know, one of those nurses in the village where it's like, even if it's like someone who doesn't take their treatment and all the other nurses are like, oh, we can't even talk to this one. They know Nurse Mwaba will talk to this person and will explain why they didn't take their treatment, and they will take their treatment. Somehow patients listened to her. Somehow she had a way of reaching out to her. She will go to granny's homes to give them their treatment. She will follow up. She went beyond just the call of duty. And that for me is the essence of greatness, where you fully do what you do very well and you do it with excellence. And it brings fulfillment and joy, and it fulfills the purpose to which you were born. Otherwise, what is the point, really, guys? What is the point? So one thing in the slide I want to mention is that, Dineo, please give me a heads up or just put on your camera when I'm over time. I wanted to take just 15 minutes on this, and then we'll move on to the next segment. So please keep me accountable. Thank you. So one of the things I wanted to share here is that the need for us to actualize ourselves or to realize our full potential is a need, guys. It's not an option. It's not a suggestion. We all have this desire to want to do what we feel we're created to do. We all want to have the impact. We all want to be influential. I mean, among many other things, yes, we want to live. Yes, we want to be able to pay our bills. Yes, we want, you know, the next big car, we want the next big house, we want to have properties, we want to have this, we want to have that. But at the core of everything, one of the greatest psychologists, American psychologists, Abraham Maslow, I think a lot of people know this diagram. It's about the hierarchy of needs. So essentially what Maslow says is we've got these various needs as human beings. And for a long time, they were only the physical and the safety needs and the belonging and love needs and esteem needs. But this part of self-fulfillment has been left out. So a lot of people felt, well, if you can have food, water, basic needs, right? If you've got them, good, life is great. But what psychologists began to realize is that that is not enough. People want to feel secure. People want to feel safe around their neighborhoods, in their families, a safe space where they can share, they can be vulnerable. Again, another need is a need of belonging, where you feel like you are part of a community. Now you are part of the youth at work community. We've got this session because you belong to this community. And that's a need, you know. So just as much as you've got a need for food, you've got a need to fulfill that purpose. You've got a need to fulfill and see that greatness coming to life. It's an innate need that we have as human beings. And one of the needs was the esteem needs. So a sense of accomplishment as human beings that makes us feel like, okay, we've accomplished something. It's a sense of our needs are being met. And as equally, like I said, as equally as you need water and you need food, it's equally important that you realize your full potential. That's why you are here. You are here in this planet to realize your full potential and be great. And I think I've touched on what I mean by greatness and just demystifying the myth that greatness has only got to do with like fame and money and stuff like that. Like I said, my grandmother was not very rich, but she left a rich heritage for me. She left a great legacy for me because my work ethic, how I approach people, my spirit of Ubuntu, my love is something that I kind of learned from her and took as her legacy. All right. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was the whole notion of being whole, that it's important we look after ourselves, not only from a basic needs point of view, but from a psychological needs point of view, because then if those needs are met, then we are well on our way in nurturing the seed of being great. And we've got a higher chances, in fact, of reaching our greatness or of realizing the potential that we do have. So like I said, this is not an option. This is not a suggestion. This is your basic human need to want to realize your full potential. And that's why this talk is very close to my heart. And I'm hoping that you're learning something. So now we're going to move into another segment. And I want us to have a conversation about this. So someone could say, you know what, Ntsiki, I hear you. This is great. Sounds all theoretical. Sounds great, you know, enlightening stuff. But where do I even start? How do I know what I'm great at? What do I know? How do I know? How do I identify the seed of greatness you are talking about? Okay, you've won me over. I'm convinced I've got the seed of greatness in me. But how do I know? How do I know that this is the one? And how do I nurture it and make sure that it works? So I'm just going to take you through. I think a lot of you guys are familiar with this. Again, this is common knowledge. It's nothing. These are models that are out there that are used in psychology. And one of the things that I love to always reflect on and think about for my own self is what they call ikigai. So ikigai is a term, if you don't know, it's a Japanese term that they use as a concept to indicate this notion of purpose, this notion of you are because there's a reason for why you're here. You're being. So it's this whole notion of you exist because there's a purpose, and until that purpose is fulfilled, then you're not living in this state of ikigai. Are you with me?
Yes.
Excellent.
We are here.
So I love it. I love it, Mr. Nkabinde. I love it. Sorry, I'm just, I see Raymar Small as well, or Ramil. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So it's always good to just engage and make sure that, you know, people are here with me, they can hear me, they're with me. Okay, cool. So basically, what this diagram you're looking at is talking to is one of the ways, and I mean, there's many different models, but I chose this one because I love it. I think it's relatable. I think it's very clear in terms of how do you pinpoint what your potential is, or the seed that we talked about earlier, the seed of greatness. If you're saying, I'm tired of having this potential, everywhere I go, people tell me, you've got potential. You can do great. You can. But I actually want to do it. I actually want to make sure that I realize this seed and realize it into a tree. So essentially what this model does is it unpacks in the different ways in which people can identify the seed in this context, the seed of greatness in them. So it identifies 4 different things. So the first one is passion. So passion essentially is what you love. So I love singing, as an example. I love maths. I love numbers. I love decorating. I love interior designing. So that's got nothing to do with my job. It's got nothing to do with how I am around people. It's just something that I love. I love writing. I love presenting like I'm doing today. I love talking to people, interacting with people. So that's just what I love, and that's the passion, right? And people have different passions, and people have different things that they love. And then there's what we call vocation. So this is what you are really good at. So the fact that I love music doesn't necessarily mean that I can sing well. How many of you guys can relate with me on that one? So you
Not
find
me.
that not you. Oh, lovely. Maybe we can take a line or two, a note or two before we go. So you find that there are people who love music, but hey, for the life of God, they just cannot sing, or they just cannot play any instrument, but they love music. And then you've got other people who are great at music. They are great musicians. So the likes of, I think I had Michael Jackson earlier. I mean, the guy was just a phenomenal performer. He was a dancer. He was a singer. He was just great at scripting his own concerts and concepts and coming up with the videos and all of that whole musical scene. It was just him, you know. And luckily for him, it's something that he was good at, but also he loved. So it was a combination of passion and vocation. And then there's what we call the mission, which is what the world needs. So regardless of how great my love of music is, make sure that
I think we lost you there. I think we have a connection problem. I think maybe it's because of load shedding.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you, but your presentation just went off.
Is it off? I'm sorry about that. I just got disconnected abruptly. Apologies. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to kind of rush through it. My apologies about that, guys. I don't know what happened, but I'm back. So then there's the mission part. Remember here, I was talking about what the world needs. And then we've got what we call the profession, which is what a lot of us are looking for, right? We want the machankuras. So here, this is what you can get paid for. So here's the dilemma, guys. The dilemma is that a lot of us, what we're passionate about is what we can be paid for, is not what we can be paid for. So like I said, love music. I don't think I can be paid for the way I sing, right? And then I may be great at interior decorating, but it may not necessarily have the amount of money that I want to make. And I love mentoring people and stuff, but guess what? I don't think I can be paid for that. You know, very often people have all these things align. Very few people can say my passion, my vocation, my mission, my profession. It is exactly one or two things that I love doing, and I'm very passionate about it, and I'm good at it, because it's one thing to be passionate about something and not be good at it. And then it's what the world needs, and therefore it's something that I can live off. So essentially, human beings are at this juncture where they find themselves love one thing, but that cannot feed them, or are good at something, but the world doesn't need it, or the world needs something, but they don't love it, or they cannot get paid for it. Now, what Ikigai is all about is saying, identify for yourself, what can you be great at that you love? The stuff that feeds your soul, the stuff that fulfills you. And that's what I want us to just talk about. So you can do the same diagram, maybe on a piece of paper in front of you, and just have the 3 different circles and say what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And then I want you to list those things. So remember, I gave you a few examples about myself to say, this is what I love, and this is what the world needs and that I'm doing. This is what I'm good at, and this is what I can be paid for. So I want us to take a few minutes to kind of classify that for ourselves. It could be you as an individual, or it could be you and a partner. I see some of the guys have logged in as a group. So it could be the group as well, but just a few minutes to just give it a thought to say, what do I love, which is what I'm passionate about and I'm great at, and what can I be paid for, and what the world needs. So I like I said, I mentor a lot of young people, and some of them would ask me, I'm passionate about art, I'm passionate about acting, and I want to pursue acting as a career. And I would say to them, yeah, you can do art, you can do acting. Are you at a position where this thing can pay for you, can pay for your living expenses? Are you at a position where this thing can give you money? Because the reality is that we need money, guys. We don't live in a vacuum where, you know, everything is free, especially these days with the petrol, guys. It's tough. So you do need to have some profession some way. So I would say to them, even if it's waitressing while you pursue your career in modeling or in art or whatever, in soccer, whatever it is, you know, that you're passionate about and you love and you want to pursue a profession in that. Especially if you are in an environment where you've got responsibilities. Let's say you're a firstborn like myself, and you've got other people that come after you. And of course, because of the legacy and the background and the context of our families, some of us, a lot of our families look up to us. Now, is it worth it for you to just pursue acting and don't care about everybody else while people stay without electricity and without water, without food, and you just pursue your own dreams and you just forget about everybody else? It's not sensible, right? So in order for you to build this state of ikigai, the state of fulfilling your purpose, it doesn't have to just be you pursuing what you love. You can pursue what you love and still have a side job on the side that helps you live in the now. And this is something that a lot of people often struggle with. So I've got some graduates right now. One of them was telling me, I don't really love what I'm doing at work right now, but it gives me money. So what do I do? And I would say to them, well, do not lose sight of what you love, because what you love feeds you. What you love nurtures your inside. So continue, if you love traveling, continue to have a job so that you can afford the traveling and actually explore it and go to different countries and do different things and explore what you love. You don't have to choose between the two. You can do both. And that's what I want us to explore when we talk about the seed of greatness. You don't have to be great in your job only. You don't have to be great in your passion only. You don't have to be great at just doing what the world needs. you can always choose what it is that you don't have to choose. I mean, you can always just, as long as you are able to identify, this is me, what I love, what I'm great at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. And from there, it's a question of how do I nurture each of these seeds so that I realize their full potential. So if you've got a profession as an example, make sure you're at the best of what you do so that you can get paid more, because you do it for the money, right? If it's what you love, spend as much time as you can doing what you love so that you're able to be fulfilled and to feed off that energy. And you can bring that back to the job that you don't love. But you don't have to choose either or. And unfortunately, I wish we can all just pursue our passions. The world doesn't work that way. Sometimes as we build our passions or as we build what we love and build a career out of that, we've got a lot of other things that we need to take care of. And it is so comforting to know that you don't have to choose either or. The space of ikigai, essentially, the state of ikigai says, as long as what you love can feed into the world and make a difference, and you can get paid for it, and you can be great at it, as you do those things in harmony, as you do those things together, then you reach a state of feeling fulfilled. Remember, I said it's a need. We need, as human beings, we need to feel like we are achieving something bigger than ourselves. That's how we are designed. We've got the seed in us that wants us to fulfill something greater, a bigger purpose, because we were created for that purpose. So I want us to take a few minutes to know, how am I doing with time? I've been rambling a lot.
Hi, it's 14:47 now.
14:47. Okay. So maybe let's take a few minutes and let's just think about this, and each one of us, let's just take a few minutes to think about this. Let me know when it's 14:50. That 3 minutes, let's just think about this. And then another thing I want us to talk about is to just explore this notion of what is a conducive environment for a seed of greatness. There's no right or wrong answer. What do you think is important for you as you identify these seeds in terms of what you love, what you're good at, what you get paid, what you can get paid for, and what the world needs? As you identify those things, what can help you fulfill or realize the potential that is in the seed? There's another friend of mine who started to fall in love with photography. So that was before
there is a hand there. Dineo, can you acknowledge that hand?
Sorry, Yama, you were saying?
Saying there's someone who's lifting up his
yes.
hands.
Hi, Jenica, do you have a question, or do you want to perhaps share?
Dineo? Dineo, are you still there? There seems to be a lull. Okay. All right, we'll reconnect just in a second. Dineo is just sorting out a few things. Just 1 minute, colleagues. Janika, if you have, Janika, you can ask your question if you have. Okay, we lost you guys.
Hi guys, sorry, I think we lost Ntsiki there. So as Ntsiki was sharing, I'm not sure if anyone else would like to share. You're most welcome to write in the chat box. Jenica, you've raised your hand since, so I'm not sure if you have a question or if that was a mistake. All right, I see you saying you have issues due to load shedding. All right, thanks, Jenica. Anyone else?
Hi guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
My apologies.
So can you
simply
now? We
don't
understand.
know what is happening. This virtual business is tricky.
Yeah.
You would think you've got everything sorted and you're ready. The next thing, you are out. So it was complaining that I need to upgrade Zoom, but I'll do that afterwards. Hopefully it won't mess us up again. So I'll reshare my presentation. Oh, Dinero, can you please make me a co-host again?
Oh, sorry. All right.
Apologies about that, guys. Please forgive me.
Yes,
I heard.
Screen.
Thank you so much. I heard we had some few hands. Were there some questions for me at this point, or should I continue?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I actually have a question. So,
Yes.
Is it material like to sacrifice a profession for a calling? It's just a question.
So, thank you for that, Gabinda. I don't know what your name is, but I'm seeing Gabinda on the screen. So, like I said, the nice thing about it is you don't have to. Depending, callings are a tricky terrain to talk about because sometimes it will be a demand from the caller to say you've got to let go of work or whatever. But in general terms, you can do everything. So essentially, because very few things can fit all these different things, what you love can be what you're good at, but oftentimes cannot pay, or oftentimes is not what the world needs. So you can have things that check all the boxes, and sometimes a calling can do that, where it's what you love and you're great at it, and you get paid for it, so there's some source of income, and also it's what the world needs. Again, I don't want to venture too much into that because I think it's beyond the scope of this presentation, but essentially it's not about sacrificing one or the other. And that's the point I was making, Kabinda, to say you can still do what you love, because what will fulfill you, which is the whole notion of the state of ikigai, what fulfills you is when you hit all the different boxes or circles in this case. We've got another hand. Can't really see who it is. Can you see your end?
Washvika.
Oh, Washvika, yes.
Yeah.
I would just like to say it's important to be realistic about it. Should really be very realistic about everything and anything in life when it comes to your passion and what you want to do and what you can't do and what you can't do.
Yes, yes. I think I want to add to that, Washvika, to say it's important to understand that sometimes your reality, which speaks to what you said about being realistic, your reality is framed by certain things. We are conditioned to have a certain reality. And what I was trying to do with this presentation today is to make you realize that perhaps what you've always considered your reality in terms of what you can and can't do, maybe that's not precisely the case. You do have something that can make you greater than what you think. Remember, we talked about a seed being a tiny thing. And a lot of people can look at it and be like, what's there? What's that? And what's important is that even the tiniest of seeds or the tiniest of talents you think you have, it's important to be mindful of it, identify it, because it can become great. Like I said, parents to Serena as an example. Maybe they just saw a young lady who loves tennis and they thought, she will grow out of it. But guess what? She became great at it. But because they nurtured and put it in the ground. Remember we said, if you have a seed and you don't put it in the ground and you don't take care of it, eventually it dies because the potential in it lies dormant. Like I said, I thought we could do some more discussion around what do you guys think can be a conducive environment for the seed or not. But I think because of time, I'll just conclude here. So here's the few things that I would like you guys to remember. If there's anything you remember at all from this talk from me, that there is a seed of greatness in you. There is a seed. And I said here, let's first look at the far right. So big things start small. A lot of us, we ignore, we overlook because it's so small. You're just like, I just love writing in my journal. But you don't realize that actually is a gift that has potential. You can actually become a million copies selling author in the end. But it all talks about, it's all about being aware of what you are great at, what you love, what can get you paid, and what the world needs. If you're able to identify those things and you're self-aware of those things, then you're able to nurture it from a seed level to being a tree where it can produce something. And one thing I wanted to leave with you guys is that it's a process. You know, a lot of people think, oh, all of a sudden Serena just became great, or all of a sudden Elon Musk became great, or, you know, all those different people that we chatted about earlier. It starts small. Nobody can tell when you are 5 months old what will become of you. But the important thing is that as you grow, they begin to identify those seeds of greatness and they begin to nurture them. And before you know it, it's coming up, it's flourishing. And that process, it's a difficult process. I mean, farmers will tell you, you don't just overnight put a seed on the ground and the next day it's a tree with fruits. It's a process and the seasons involved. And there's no room to comparison. You know, it's your own lane, your own race, and your own pace, because you are unique. The seed in you is unique. It's like now if we start comparing the apple seed and the orange seed, it's pointless because these are completely different things. And so it's similar with our potential. It's similar with our gifts and our talents and our success even, you know. We look at people who do certain things like, oh, I so wish I could speak like Oprah. I so wish I could, you know, host, you know, and have this multi-billion-dollar industry, have a multi-billion-dollar channel or TV show or whatever the case may be. But we don't realize often that perhaps that's not my lane. Perhaps that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. The important thing is to look in you and say, what is the seed in me? And how do I nurture it so that it becomes the best it can be? Remember, we said greatness is not about being this renowned, great thing, but it's about being the best. That's enough. Being the best that you can be and realizing the full potential that you can be. So some of the things that cause seeds to grow. So I talked here about manure and soil, environment, sunlight. You can refer to this, and these are important things that cause the environment, that cause the seed to grow. And I also listed here the things that prevent the seed from growing. Oftentimes ourselves, you know, we have this reality that, but I can't. No, it's a good thing that Ntsiki could do this because she went to a private school and that is why she's able to do it. Or she could do it because, you know, her parents were well off. And we limit ourselves with this reality that we are conditioned to accept. And what I'm trying to do is to inspire you guys to say, no seed is small and every big thing started small. So it's very important to always break out of this self-limiting beliefs. And some of us, it's lack of confidence. And I wrote here, people are very important, guys. They are like the environment. They can literally break or make your life or your purpose or the fulfilling of your purpose. We've got this Abantu Bazotini syndrome. For those who don't understand that language, it's basically the syndrome of what will people say? If I pursue this, oh, they're going to think I'm making myself look better. They're going to think, oh, now that I've gone to university, this is what I think of myself. And we're always constantly battling with these things. And guess what? These things choke the seed in us and we cannot see what it can become. Remember, we talked about the potential that's locked up in the seed. And the last thing is comfort, guys. You cannot achieve anything great if you remain comfortable.
So
I will round off there. Yes.
Yeah, we are 3 o'clock straight, so I don't think time is on our side. I see some comments. Some people are saying they are logging off due to load shedding, but yeah, just
okay.
for you to take
2 minutes to go.
It's 3 already now.
Okay, not a problem. I just wanted to share this last quote I put here. It says the graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is there that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, and all because someone was too afraid to take that first step and keep with the problem or determined to carry out their dream. I hope you were inspired. I hope you learned something today, and let's keep in touch. Thank you so much, Youth at Work community, for welcoming me, and I look forward to connecting again. The last quote I will leave you with is, what a man can be, he must be. Don't remain what you possibly can be, but you must pursue to be that which you can be. Thanks, Dineo.
Thank you so much, Ntsiki. That was indeed profound, and I just hope everyone else was motivated because I personally was indeed blown away. So thank you so much for sharing. And I believe that now everyone else will be able to see the potential in themselves and also through nature, that seed that you were talking about.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask one last thing from everyone. If everyone else can open their videos, and then I'm gonna take a picture, and then we're gonna say goodbye to one another.
I guess.
All right, thanks, Ntsiki.
Oh, is that your way of saying I can leave?
No. I'm speaking about, no, you can lower your presentation so that I can be able to see the faces of today's participants.
Oh, I should have. Can you please just switch it off on your side, because now is it still sharing?
Yes, I'm able to see a presentation. Let me try to.
Maybe try and reshare and unshare on your side.
Yes, it's now off. Thanks. All right, thank you so much to everyone who managed to join. As I said, I really hope that everyone else is indeed inspired and motivated by what Ntsiki was sharing. So yeah, thank you so much. And we just hope we'll meet you guys in our next session. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Mas bong. Bye-bye.